Welcome back to our course, Networks and Distributed Systems, based on the textbook Computer Networking, a Top-Down Approach by Jim Caros and Keith Ross. We are starting Module 6 now, where we'll be discussing the topic of mobile and wireless networks. So let's begin. Most college students have grown up in a cellular world. Having a cell phone, even a smartphone, is second nature to you. But believe it or not, this wonderful technology is just not that old. When I was your age, we had nothing like this. If we needed to talk to someone while on the road, we had to find a phone booth and stop. You don't even see phone booths anymore unless you watch Doctor Who, and his is not a phone booth, it's a police booth, but it's very similar. Naturally, some of my students will respond to that by saying, "Of course, Mr. Davis, that was back in the dark ages." Well, I'm not that old, but it's not that much of an exaggeration. In the telephony world, the past 15 years have been amazing. The number of worldwide mobile cellular subscribers has increased from 34 million in 1993 to nearly 5.5 million subscribers in 2011, with the number of cellular subscribers now surpassing the number of wired telephone lines. Many of us have completely dropped our landline and use cell phones exclusively. The many advantages of cell phones are evident to everyone. Anywhere, anytime, untethered access to the global telephone network via a highly portable, lightweight device. With the advent of laptops and palm tops and smartphones and their promise of anywhere, anytime, untethered access to the global internet, a similar explosion in the use of wireless internet devices is a given. Regardless of the future growth of wireless internet devices, it's already clear that wireless networks and mobility-related services they enable are here to stay. From a networking standpoint, the challenges posed by these networks, particularly at the link layer and the network layer, are so different from traditional wired computer networks that we will have to spend some time exploring wireless and mobile networks. Figure 6.1 shows the setting in which we consider the topics of wireless data communications and mobility. We can identify the following elements in a wireless network. The first is wireless host. As in the case of wired networks, hosts are the end system devices that run applications. A wireless host might be a laptop, a palm top, a smartphone, a desktop computer, and the hosts themselves may or may not be mobile. Wireless links. A host connects to a base station that we'll be talking about shortly, or another wireless host through a wireless communication link. Different wireless link technologies have different transmission rates and can transmit over different distances. This figure 6.2 shows two key characteristics, coverage area and link rate, of the more popular wireless network standards. The figure is only meant to provide a rough idea of these characteristics. For example, some of these types of networks are only now being deployed, and some link rates can increase or decrease beyond the values shown depending upon the distance, channel conditions, and the number of users in the wireless network. In Figure 6.1, wireless links connect wireless hosts located at the edge of the network into a larger network infrastructure. Wireless links are also sometimes used within a network to connect routers, switches, and other network equipment. The base station is a key part of the wireless network infrastructure. Unlike the wireless host and wireless link, a base station has no obvious counterpart in the wired network. A base station is responsible for sending and receiving data, that is, packets, to and from a wireless host that is associated with that base station. A base station will often be responsible for coordinating the transmission of multiple wireless hosts with which it is associated. When we say a wireless host is associated with a base station, we mean that first, the host is within the wireless communication distance of the base station, and secondly, the host uses the base station to relay data between it, the host, and the larger network. Cell towers in cellular networks and access points in 802.11 wireless LANs are examples of base stations. In Figure 6.1, the base station is connected to the larger network, that is, the internet, corporate, or home network, or telephone network. Therefore, it is functioning as a link layer relay between the wireless host and the rest of the world with which that host communicates. Hosts associated with base stations are often referred to as operating in the infrastructure mode, since all traditional network services, address assignment, routing, and so on, are provided by the network to which the host is connected via the base station. In ad hoc networks, wireless hosts have no such infrastructure with which to connect. In the absence of such an infrastructure, the hosts themselves must provide the services such as routing, address assignment, and DNS-like name translation, and more. When a mobile host moves beyond the range of one base station and into the range of another, it will change its point of attachment into the larger network. That means that it changes the base station with which it associates. This process is referred to as handoff. Such mobility raises many challenging questions. If a host can move, how does one find the host's current location in the network so that data can be forwarded to that mobile host? How is addressing performed given that the host can be in one of many possible locations? If the host moves during a TCP connection or phone call, how is data routed so that the connection continues uninterrupted? These and many other questions make wireless and mobile networking an area of exciting networking research. Network infrastructure is the larger network with which a wireless host may communicate. Well, that's a general overview of the topic that we'll be discussing. We're about to move into some more detail, but before we do, why don't we take a short break here and go back and update the study guide for Module 6, and when you're prepared, come on back and we'll begin another one.